You're on the air.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. How you
This is
doing?
Jason Zem. Good, man. Good. This is Jason Zem from YOU2ONEDAY. I just want to say I have a couple commentators. We all support you. We
Oh, thank
donate.
you.
We love your channel. We love what you're doing.
Thank
we
you.
love what you're doing, man. Amazing work you're doing out there. Like, seriously.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
That last chat that you had on, and you can actually sit there and disagree with somebody and earnestly say, we do disagree on politics. We do talk about it like gentlemen. We don't have to be screaming and foaming at the mouth at each other.
Right.
It's amazing. It really is good. Okay, so I got two things I want to talk about quickly. I know you don't have a lot of time taking people at the end of the show. I do appreciate it. I want to ask you about Patreon. Now, you may have answered a little bit of this already. I may have missed it. What are your thoughts on Patreon? I know it's been a big factor in like strengthening you. So like, do you have any thoughts? Do you feel like they're going to be coming after you? Like, I mean, because what you do is controversial, and in an age like we live in now, it's a scary business. So do you have any plans, or like, I mean, I'm very curious about that.
Sure. So fortunately for me, while Patreon at one point was very strong for me, there have been several things that have happened. Two of them political, one of them a stupid policy that they made that completely had the Patreon number go down super low. And fortunately, the super chats and the other forms were fine. So we're good. Now, as far as I think that their position on free speech is one of the more egregious, which is difficult to say because all the social media sites have horrible free speech positions. But because
certainly.
So this site called Stream Me came out, and the reason I like them is they deliberately invited the kill stream onto their channel, which is and I don't know if they necessarily promote themselves as a free speech show, but they're clearly a show that you could say whatever the fuck you want, and it's considered very offensive by SJWs. And so the fact that they purposely invited them on, I thought was a good sign. So anyway, they have a Patreon type option that I switched to. Now, if there's other platforms that come out that are legitimate, I'll use those as well. But I'm leery about Subscribestar, and other than that, it's cryptocurrency, which is fine as well. It's not as popular, and people I don't think are not enough people use it yet, so it's out there, but it's not the recommended thing. But right now, for the Patreon type option, it's the Stream Me subscription.
Probably, yeah. No, it's. I mean, Carl Benjamin was talking a bunch about that on his channel the other day.
Yeah.
And I think my question was geared more towards the profitability of their company. They raised a couple of really good points about how the company had taken in over $100 million in venture capital and does not have a sustainable structured business model. So it looks like Patreon is probably headed for the trash can at some point. So, and that's why I'm a little worried for the people who structure a lot of themselves on Patreon. I'm glad, content creators like yourself have found other ways to go about it.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Benjamin swears by Subscribestar, and it does work. We do use the service ourselves, so it is pretty good. So I will say that. The second thing I wanted to move into a little bit is more of a bit of an opinion thing.
Sure.
And, it's about the state of the union. I mean, we've had such a high approval rating. I mean, I've heard numbers from 76 to 79%.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most amazing things that I've seen ever happen, because you had the solidarity movement. They're all dressing in white, and all the women, and then before you know it, they're all standing and clapping for a man that they said who was completely appalling. And I think the State of the Union is a major paradigm shift for us as a nation. I mean, we see like BuzzFeed laying off 10% of their op-ed people, 10% firing 200 people, the whole learn to code thing. I think the social justice liberal, I think that whole thing is coming it's coming full circle now. I mean, we're going on almost 10 years of this.
Yeah.
It's 2010, 2011 is when it really started ramping up. We had like Big Red, and we had all those other radical feminists coming out, giving those speeches at universities. Shortly after, we had people like Ben Shapiro being banned from talking at universities. And now we're going full circle. Those people are now being welcomed more. We have people who are now being shown the error of their ways. So do you agree that there is sort of a paradigm shift going? Or, I mean, so you've had a couple of people call in earlier on your show who were like, oh, no, AOC is going to ruin everything, and it's the end of the world. It's like some people are really, I think they feel like the stars are falling, and I don't feel that way. I mean, with the approval rating and the way Trump's handling things on the economic scale, I seriously and earnestly believe that we are moving in a better place as a country and as a people, regardless of the few crazies out there. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, what's weird about it is that, like, they have a lot of power, but I don't think most people agree with them. So, I mean, I think particularly when you have, it was like, yeah, it was in the 70s for the people watching, and Independence, I think it was like 82% approval. I think that just shows you that I think most people don't agree with the corporate media narrative. And so I think, for example, Trump's going to win in 2020. So from that standpoint, I do think
certainly,
we're winning. The problem is they still have a lot of institutional power, and they can cause a lot of damage. And they have the power in some of the most crucial places like social media. So I'm not of the opinion, I don't feel positive about where we're headed, but I don't think it's going to go the socialist route. I just don't think there's enough of them in the country. Now, if they, as I said before, if they change the way the elections work, that will be a major game changer for them. But they're going to need to do
going from an electoral college to a populist vote.
Right. If they do that, then we're in trouble. Because I think they would win every time, and I mean it would be. I would hope that they would fight them tooth and nail for that, because it's ridiculous to do that. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Well, I mean, I served in the military under 2 different presidencies, and I know for a fact there'd be a lot of people who would fight beyond tooth and nail to make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, because a lot of people what they don't realize, well, Americans is a democracy. Sure, we have democratic processes, but we're actually a constitutional republic.
Yeah.
And our system, our 3-party system, our 3-tiered system, and our voting system, it's very, very important. Now, the only thing that I really am strongly against is the career politician. I mean, take a look at somebody like Nancy Pelosi. She was elected to Congress in 1987.
Yeah.
This woman's been serving in Congress more than 30 years. And that turns your stomach when you think about, like, she's like hungry for power for her almost entire life and just gaining more and more power. She's on the last 4 inaugural committees.
Yeah.
You know, she's not a stranger to this area, and everybody's very, very aware of her power. But I mean, we take a look at her, and we're like, I mean, what substantially great has she even done in the past 20 years to benefit our country, other than been, you know, a nagging talking box?
Enriching herself, basically, yeah. Yeah, enriching herself.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the Clintons. You know, the Clintons making over $200 million while in office. It's like you don't make that kind of money unless you got something going on the side, you know? So, but anyway, I just wanted to bring those things up. I appreciate the work that you do. Thank you for taking the time out. I know I'm one of the last calls, and, you know, we're going to continue to support you in the future. And my name's Jason Zem. We're from YOU2ONEDAY, and thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call.